The 1950s, a time of poodle skirts, Elvis, and the dawn of the space race. It was an era that saw the birth of rock and roll, the rise of television, and the beginning of the civil rights movement. The decade was marked by a sense of optimism and a belief in the promise of the future. But behind the scenes of this cultural revolution, another transformation was taking place: the way America shopped. The post-war economic boom brought about a significant shift in consumer behavior. People were no longer just buying what they needed, they were buying what they wanted. Gone were the days of scrimping and saving, replaced by a new era of prosperity and consumerism. The average American family had more disposable income than ever before, and they were eager to spend it on the latest and greatest products. Imagine stepping back in time to a bustling 1950s marketplace. The air buzzes with a vibrant energy. Shoppers move from store to store, their arms laden with bags and boxes. The streets are filled with the sounds of chatter, laughter, and the occasional honk of a car horn. Shiny chrome gleams on tail fins in the distance. These cars, with their sleek designs and powerful engines, were symbols of status and success. They represented the American dream of freedom and mobility. Inside, stores beckon with promises of modern marvels. From the latest kitchen appliances to the newest fashion trends, there was something for everyone. The displays were designed to entice and captivate, drawing shoppers in with their bright colors and innovative designs. This was a time of change and innovation, a far cry from the war-torn years that preceded it. Retailers were constantly coming up with new ways to attract customers, from self-service supermarkets to drive-in theaters. The shopping experience was becoming more convenient and enjoyable. The 1950s marked a turning point in American retail. The austerity of the war years gave way to a booming economy. Families, flush with newfound prosperity, were eager to spend. They were no longer content with just the basics. They wanted the best that money could buy. Families, flush with newfound prosperity, were eager to spend. They flocked to the new shopping centers and department stores where they could find everything they needed under one roof. Shopping became a leisure activity, a way to spend time with family and friends. This surge in consumerism fueled a retail revolution, forever changing the shopping landscape. The rise of suburban living meant that people had more space to fill with new products, and retailers were more than happy to oblige. This era witnessed the rise of iconic department stores, the birth of the supermarket, and the dawn of shopping as we know it. These new retail formats offered a level of convenience and variety that had never been seen before. It was a time of both familiarity and novelty, a fascinating blend of tradition and progress. The old and the new coexisted in a delicate balance, creating a unique shopping experience that was both comforting and exciting. Join us now as we journey back to experience the charm and uniqueness of shopping in the 1950s. From the bustling marketplaces to the gleaming department stores, we'll explore the sights, sounds, and sensations of a bygone era. Let's step back in time and see how the 1950s shaped the way we shop today. The average American family in the 1950s had about $100 a week to spend on groceries and household items. This may seem like a pittance today, but back then, it could buy a surprising amount. A loaf of bread cost a mere 18 cents. A gallon of milk? Only 92 cents. These low prices were a source of pride for many families. They reflected the economic boom that characterized the post-war era. Jobs were plentiful, wages were rising, and for the first time many families had disposable income to spend on things beyond the essentials. This newfound affluence led to a surge in consumer spending. People were eager to embrace the latest products and conveniences. Refrigerators, washing machines, and televisions, once considered luxuries, became commonplace in American homes. This shift in spending habits had a profound impact on retail. Stores responded by expanding their offerings, introducing new products, and finding innovative ways to attract customers. The 1950s were a time of abundance and optimism. The economy was strong, families were thriving, and the shopping landscape reflected this newfound prosperity, offering a tantalizing glimpse into a world of possibilities. Shopping in the 1950s was a sensory experience. Stores, eager to attract customers, employed vibrant colors, bold signage, and elaborate displays. Walking into a grocery store was like stepping into a kaleidoscope of colors and textures. But the biggest change in the shopping experience was the advent of the shopping cart. Before the 1950s, shoppers relied on clerks to gather their items. This could be a time-consuming process. Customers often had to wait their turn, patiently explaining their needs to the clerk. The introduction of the shopping cart revolutionized the way people shopped. Now, customers could browse the aisles at their leisure, filling their carts with whatever caught their eye. This self-service model was a radical departure from the traditional clerk-assisted approach. It empowered shoppers, giving them a sense of agency and control over their purchases. This shift from clerk-assisted shopping to self-service marked a turning point in retail. It paved the way for the rise of supermarkets and shaped the shopping experience as we know it. Section 4. The rise of the supermarkets, a new era of grocery shopping. The 1950s witnessed the meteoric rise of the supermarket. These new retail giants transformed the way people shopped for their daily needs, offering a one-stop solution for a variety of products. These sprawling emporiums with their endless aisles and vast selection of goods quickly became a symbol of post-war prosperity. Shoppers were greeted with an abundance of choices, from fresh produce to household items, all under one roof. Supermarkets offered a level of convenience and choice that was simply unheard of in previous decades. The ability to purchase a week's worth of groceries in one trip was revolutionary for many families. Neighborhood grocery stores, once the cornerstone of local communities, struggled to compete with these behemoths of retail. These smaller stores often couldn't match the variety or the prices offered by the larger supermarkets. Supermarkets could leverage their size to negotiate lower prices from suppliers, passing those savings on to consumers. This ability to offer lower prices was a significant draw for budget-conscious shoppers. They offered a wider variety of products catering to a broader range of tastes and needs. From exotic fruits to international spices, supermarkets began to introduce consumers to a world of new culinary possibilities. The rise of the supermarket was fueled by a confluence of factors. The post-war economic boom, increased car ownership, and the suburbanization of America all played crucial roles in this retail revolution. The post-war economic boom meant that families had more money to spend on groceries. This newfound affluence allowed them to buy more and better quality food, contributing to the success of supermarkets. The rise of the automobile made it easier for people to travel farther for shopping. With cars becoming a common household item, families could easily drive to the nearest supermarket, even if it was miles away. And the increasing popularity of self-service shopping made supermarkets a more appealing option for time-strapped consumers. The ability to browse and select items at their own pace was a significant advantage over traditional grocery stores. By the end of the decade, supermarkets had captured a majority share of the grocery market. Their dominance was evident in the bustling aisles and crowded parking lots that became a common sight across the country. This shift had a profound impact on the retail landscape, leading to the decline of the neighborhood grocery store and shaping the way Americans shop for generations to come. The convenience, variety, and affordability offered by supermarkets set a new standard for grocery shopping, one that continues to influence the industry today. Section 5. Credit cards and cash registers, the changing landscape of payment. The 1950s witnessed a subtle but significant shift in the way people paid for goods. This era marked the beginning of a transformation that would eventually revolutionize the retail industry. While cash remained king, credit cards began to emerge as a viable alternative. The convenience of not having to carry large amounts of cash was appealing, especially in a rapidly modernizing world. Diners Club, the first independent credit card company, was founded in 1950. This innovation allowed members to charge their meals at participating restaurants, setting the stage for future developments in credit. This was followed by American Express in 1958, which expanded the concept of credit cards beyond dining to include travel and entertainment expenses. These early credit cards were primarily used by businessmen and travelers. They offered a convenient way to pay for expenses without having to carry large amounts of cash, which was particularly useful for those frequently on the move. They offered a convenient way to pay for expenses without having to carry large amounts of cash. This convenience was a significant selling point, as it reduced the risk of loss or theft associated with carrying cash. However, it would be several decades before credit cards gained widespread acceptance among the general public. The infrastructure and trust needed for such a system to thrive were still in their infancy. In the meantime, cash registers continued to be the primary means of processing transactions. These machines were the backbone of retail operations, ensuring accurate and efficient handling of cash. These mechanical marvels, with their ringing bells, whirring gears, and satisfying cha-chings, were a ubiquitous presence in stores across the country. They symbolized the efficiency and reliability of the retail system of the time. Cashiers, often clad in crisp uniforms, expertly punched in prices, counted out change, and bagged groceries with a speed and efficiency that would put today's self-checkout kiosks to shame. Their role was crucial in maintaining the smooth operation of stores. The 1950s was a time of transition in the world of retail payment. The introduction of credit cards hinted at a future where transactions could be more flexible and less dependent on physical cash. While cash remained the dominant form of payment, the seeds of change had been sown. The convenience and potential of credit cards were beginning to be recognized, even if their full impact was not yet realized. Credit cards, though still in their infancy, hinted at a future where plastic would eventually reign supreme. This period laid the groundwork for the modern financial systems we rely on today, showcasing the early steps of a payment revolution.